In 1925, a failed artist published a book no publisher dared to touch. Florence Scovel Shinn argued that your words aren't describing your reality, they're creating it. She called life a game with rules, not a battle you fight, and every complaint you make is a move you didn't mean to play. The 3 laws inside explain why some people stay stuck while others break through. The dangerous premise. Florence Scovel Shinn didn't start out as a philosopher or professor. She worked as an artist and book illustrator who started teaching spiritual principles in New York City during the 1920s. When she tried to find a publisher for her ideas in 1925, nobody would touch them. So she published the book herself under the title The Game of Life and How to Play It. Over the last century, teachers like David Bayer have called it the most dangerous book ever written about reality. Shinn doesn't offer positive thinking as a mood booster. She treats it as mechanics. If she's right, then every casual complaint, every doubt you voice out loud, and every prediction of failure isn't just talk, it becomes an instruction to the part of your mind that runs on autopilot. That's why the book throws people off. It removes the option to blame luck, timing, or other people. You're the one speaking the words, and that means you're playing every move. The ideas inside shaped Think and Grow Rich, The Secret, and most modern manifestation teaching. But Shinn was there first. She wrote it as a game with rules instead of a battle you fight. We're going to break down 3 of those rules today. The first one starts the moment you open your mouth. Power of the word. Most people treat conversation as harmless venting. You have a bad day, you tell someone about it, and you move on. Shinn saw it completely differently. She wrote that words and thoughts are a tremendous force that ever molds your body and your affairs. That's a direct quote from the book. She believed Jesus taught this first when he said, "By your words you're justified, and by your words you're condemned." Shinn took that literally, treating speech as the doorway between your inner world and your outer results. From a modern angle, this isn't as strange as it sounds. Cognitive psychologists have studied the same thing under different names. They call it labeling theory, or self-fulfilling prophecy, or simply confirmation bias. When you say, "I'm broke," or "this never works for me," your brain doesn't process that as a temporary observation. It processes it as a definition. You're telling your nervous system what to expect tomorrow. That expectation then shapes what you notice, what you risk, and what you avoid. You start overlooking opportunities because your filter is set to expect failure. It becomes a loop that runs without your permission, which is why most people never notice it's happening. Shinn named this the power of the word, and she treated it like a law instead of a suggestion. To change the results, you change the words first, not because magic is involved, but because your language connects what is happening inside you to what happens outside. The words don't need to be dramatic, they only need to point in the right direction. Here are 3 swaps you can try this week. At work, instead of saying, "I'll never get promoted," say, "I'm expanding my influence and value right now." The first sentence is a resignation, while the second gives direction. With money, instead of "I can't afford this," say, "I choose to invest in what matters." One locks scarcity, while the other leaves possibility open. In a relationship, instead of "nobody listens to me," say, "I communicate with clarity and people respond." The first blames, the second claims responsibility. These aren't affirmations in the mirror, they're directional statements. One version tells your brain the game is over, the other says it's still on. But fixing your words is only half the game. Even if you change how you speak, you might still be aiming at the wrong target entirely. Law of Substitution. Shinn noticed something that still trips people up today. We set specific goals, we chase exact outcomes, and when we finally get them, we feel empty or trapped. She called this the Law of Substitution.
In her own words, many people are in ignorance of their true destinies and striving for things and situations which don't belong to them and would only bring failure and dissatisfaction if attained. That's a heavy sentence, but the idea is simple. Your conscious mind isn't very good at knowing what'll actually satisfy you. It tends to pick symbols instead of outcomes, things like a job title, a bank balance, or a person's approval. Those aren't destinations, they're just guesses about what might bring you happiness. Shinn's advice was to stop asking for the specific thing and start asking for the right circumstance. She labeled this the divine selection. From a practical standpoint, that means you focus on the end state, not the title on your business card. In your job, instead of saying, "I need to be a manager by December," try, "I want work that uses my best abilities and compensates me well." The first is a rigid title with a deadline. The second is an outcome that can arrive in several forms. Maybe you get promoted, or you move to a better role at a different company, or maybe you start consulting on the side. The destination is the same, but the path isn't locked. With money, Shinn pulled a phrase that sounds old-fashioned but works. She insisted that every demand has its matching supply. That means instead of obsessing over a magic number like $10,000, you focus on having enough for what actually matters. You aren't chasing a figure, you're solving a problem, and the money becomes a side effect of a clear need instead of the goal itself. In relationships, rather than demanding this specific person has to change, you say, "I want a relationship that supports my growth." The first chains you to one outcome you can't control. The second opens the field. You might improve the relationship you have, or you might realize you've outgrown it. Either way, the goal is happiness, not control. This isn't just spiritual advice. The same principle shows up whenever someone chases a promotion, gets it, and still feels empty. The principle is the same. You don't have to abandon ambition, you just need to aim at the right thing. Once your aim is correct, the next problem shows up. Most people ask for success while quietly preparing for failure.
Prosperity and the ditches. Shinn saw this contradiction constantly. A person would ask for a raise while mentally rehearsing the rejection. Someone would pray for a relationship while expecting to be left. She called it preparing for failure while asking for success. Her answer was the law of prosperity, and it has two parts. First, she pointed out that God is your supply, and there's a supply for every demand. Second, and this is the part most people skip, you must act as if you'd already received and prepare for the thing you've asked for, even when there's no sign of it in sight. Shinn reached for a story from the Bible to make the point, but it plays out in real life exactly the same way. 3 kings were stuck in a desert with no water. The prophet Elisha told them to dig ditches in the dry ground. He said they wouldn't see wind or rain, but the valley would fill. They had to prepare for water before there was any evidence of water. Shinn treated this as the central rule of the game. The rule is simple. You don't wait for proof to move. You move to create the proof yourself. Now here's where most people get it backwards. They think they'll believe it when they see it. Shinn said you have to see it before you believe it, and then act like it's already real. During a severe apartment shortage in New York, one of Shinn's students needed a place to live. Her friends told her it was impossible and that she'd have to store her furniture. Instead, she bought new blankets as if the apartment was already hers. She told people, "You needn't feel sorry for me, I'm a Superman and I'll get an apartment." She found one despite over 200 other applicants. The blankets showed active faith. She prepared for the outcome before the outcome existed. Another man needed $50,000 for his business. The bank refused him flatly. Shinn urged him to go back with the attitude that it was already settled. He caught a late train, arrived with 15 minutes to spare, and the bank gave him the loan without a single question. He prepared mentally and then acted accordingly. The timing looked impossible, but his actions matched his request.
You can use this today with a simple drill. The next time something goes wrong, set a timer for 3 minutes. For those 3 minutes, you're only allowed to describe the situation in terms of the solution you want, not the problem you have. That's what Shinn called non-resistance. It means you don't fight the negative situation with more negative energy. You shift your attention to preparing for the result. It sounds small, but it breaks the loop that keeps most people stuck. Conclusion. Your words set the direction, your aim sets the target, and your actions prove that you believe it. That's the game Florence Scovel Shinn described in 1925, and it still works the same way today. If you want more frameworks like this, check out the video on The Strangest Secret. Subscribe for more book insights that save you time while helping you grow. Have a great day.